Hey, 49ers faithful. We're back with an exclusive video bringing you the latest updates on our beloved San Francisco 49ers. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit that like button. This way, you'll never miss any breaking news or exciting updates about the Niners. The streets of San Francisco lit up like a festival when the news broke that Justin Jefferson had officially signed with the 49ers. Fans poured into bars, restaurants, and even the sidewalks around Levi's Stadium, waving flags, wearing jerseys, and shouting his name as if a championship had already been won. The air carried that rare mix of disbelief and euphoria, the kind that only happens when a generational talent arrives at a team already built to win. The moment Jefferson stepped off the plane, cameras flashed like lightning, capturing what felt like the birth of a new era in the Bay. This wasn't just another player signing a contract. This was a superstar walking into a franchise with unfinished business. After years of being the most electrifying receiver in Minnesota, Jefferson now finds himself surrounded by a loaded roster, a brilliant offensive mind in Kyle Shanahan, and a fan base starving for another Super Bowl parade. The energy was contagious. Even before he put on the red and gold, Jefferson was already trending across every platform, his smile and swagger turning into instant symbols of hope. It wasn't just football news anymore, it was cultural. It was San Francisco believing again. From the moment he arrived, the buzz only grew louder. Social media exploded with clips of Jefferson stepping out of his car, fans chanting JJ as he waved and took selfies like he'd been part of the city for years. Reporters described it as a movie scene, the superstar wide out walking through a crowd that seemed to grow by the minute. People brought posters, kids wore his LSU jerseys, and somewhere in the middle of it all, you could feel that sense of destiny taking shape. Everyone knew what this meant. The 49ers weren't just chasing another playoff run. They were going all in, and Jefferson was the missing piece. Rumors started spreading that his first workout session with Brock Purdy already looked unreal, that their chemistry clicked instantly. Whether that's true or just fan exaggeration didn't really matter, because the hype was unstoppable. Every sports show in America suddenly had San Francisco back in the center of the conversation, and every defensive coordinator in the NFC started losing sleep. The city had fallen in love overnight, and the story was just beginning. The press conference was pure theater. Jefferson walked onto the stage wearing a sharp black suit and a 49ers lapel pin, his signature grin lighting up the room. He didn't need to say much, just his presence commanded attention. When he finally spoke, his tone carried confidence, but also gratitude. "I'm here to win," he said, looking straight into the cameras. That's all that matters. Those 5 words echoed through the Bay Area like a declaration of war. Shanahan smiled like a man who'd just been handed a new playbook full of possibilities. The local media couldn't get enough, dissecting every detail from his body language to his phrasing. Some fans joked that Jefferson looked like he'd been born to wear red and gold, that his swagger fit the 49ers' legacy perfectly. Behind the scenes, teammates were reportedly buzzing too. Deebo Samuel welcomed him with open arms, calling him family already, while George Kittle sent a text saying, "Let's make history." It was that kind of day, the type that doesn't just change a roster, but shifts an entire city's mood. San Francisco felt alive again, and all because of one name, Justin Jefferson. Even the skeptics couldn't deny it. Something special was happening. Across the league, analysts debated whether this move officially made the 49ers unstoppable. Could any defense possibly cover Jefferson, Deebo, and Kittle at the same time? Could any secondary survive Shanahan's scheming with Jefferson stretching the field? The possibilities seemed endless. It wasn't just about stats anymore. It was about momentum, belief, and the power of a superstar to change everything around him. People compared the energy to when Randy Moss joined New England or when Terrell Owens first landed in San Francisco years ago. The difference, though, was timing. Jefferson arrived when the 49ers were already elite, already knocking on the Super Bowl door. Now, they might just break it down. Vegas sportsbooks adjusted odds within hours, pushing San Francisco to the top of the NFC favorites. Merchandise sales spiked overnight. Every highlight reel, every tweet, every conversation seemed to orbit around one phrase: Jefferson to the Niners. It was football's version of a cultural takeover, and the Bay was the epicenter. But beneath all the celebration, there was a quiet understanding, pressure, the kind that doesn't get talked about in parades or pressers but lives in the shadows of expectation. Jefferson isn't just joining a good team. He's joining a team that's been painfully close to glory. San Francisco has watched heartbreak after heartbreak in the Super Bowl era, and this signing feels like the final piece of a puzzle that's been incomplete for too long. Some insiders whispered that Jefferson was aware of that wait the moment he signed the contract. He reportedly told teammates that he came to finish the story. Fans clung to that line as if it were prophecy. Still, in the back of everyone's minds, there's that question: can he handle the spotlight, the pressure, the comparisons to legends who came before? For now, nobody cares. The Bay is too busy celebrating. But as the season approaches, the cheers will turn into expectations, and that's when Jefferson's real test will begin. The honeymoon is loud, but the season is long. Still, there's no denying it. Jefferson brings something rare, something electric that can't be faked. His confidence isn't arrogance. It's the kind of presence that elevates everyone around him. Coaches already talk about how his energy in the locker room is contagious. Players describe him as a walking highlight reel, someone who makes practice feel like game day. The city sees him as more than just a receiver. He's become a symbol of what the 49ers have been missing. That spark, that swagger, that belief. For a fan base that has endured near misses and heartbreak, Jefferson feels like hope in human form. The day he suits up at Levi's for the first time will be unforgettable. Cameras will pan across a sea of red and gold. Thousands of fans chanting his name in unison. Somewhere in that noise, you'll feel it, that rare, goosebump-inducing sense that something legendary might just be beginning. As the days passed, San Francisco seemed to move to a new rhythm, one set by Justin Jefferson's arrival. Every local news station replayed his highlights on loop. The one-handed catches, the impossible toe taps, the celebrations that became viral sensations. But it wasn't just the highlights. It was the feeling behind them. People in the Bay Area walked with a new kind of pride. The kind that comes from knowing your team just became the center of the football universe. Even rival fans couldn't help but talk about it. The restaurants near Levi's Stadium started adding Jefferson-themed dishes to their menus. JJ Wings, the Gritty Burger, and even Catching Fire Nachos. It was more than fandom. It was full-blown cultural takeover. You could hear in the way fans talked at bus stops and in the way kids practiced the gritty after school. It was as if Jefferson hadn't just signed a contract. He had signed his name onto the city's identity. That's what happens when a superstar of his caliber enters a place starving for a hero. Inside the organization, the mood shifted too. Reports from training camp hinted that Jefferson was already making his mark. Brock Purdy was said to be grinning through every rep, finally having a target who could turn any throw into a highlight. One coach described it perfectly. It's like we're watching art happen live. Practices started drawing larger crowds, and every catch Jefferson made earned cheers loud enough to echo across Santa Clara. His presence brought out the best in everyone. Defensive backs pushed harder, receivers ran crisper routes, and Shanahan's playbook seemed to stretch wider by the day. You could feel it. The 49ers weren't just improving, they were evolving. Jefferson's arrival wasn't just about adding talent. It was about changing energy, recalibrating what greatness looked like. The whispers coming from camp weren't about whether it would work, but how far it could go. For a team that's come close so many times, this was different. This was destiny knocking on the door again. But behind the excitement, there was a fire building in Jefferson himself. Those close to him said he took this move personally, not as a vacation to California, but as a mission to rewrite the story of his career. In Minnesota, he was brilliant but limited by circumstances, always producing despite constant change. Now, with Shanahan's system and a roster full of stars, he has the chance to chase something bigger than stats, legacy. You can see in the way he talks during interviews that calm intensity behind his words. He doesn't need to promise anything. His confidence says it all. People around the league have noticed too. Opposing players are already circling the matchup on their calendars. Defensive backs tweeting playful warnings, knowing full well what's coming. And Jefferson, as always, smiles through it all. There's something magnetic about the way he handles the spotlight, as if he was built for these moments, for this stage, for this city. The Bay didn't just get a player. It got a movement. Still, rumors keep swirling that Shanahan is designing a completely new offensive package built specifically around Jefferson's versatility. Some insiders claim the coach has been obsessed with the idea of using Jefferson in motion, lining him up in the slot, and even giving him designed runs. Nobody knows for sure what's real, but that's part of the fun. The speculation fuels the hype, and fans feed on it like wildfire. Every whisper becomes a headline. Every minor detail becomes a debate on sports talk radio. Even other players joke that Jefferson might have his own playbook within the playbook. What's certain is that Shanahan has never had a weapon quite like this before. Someone who combines elite route running with Showtime charisma. The anticipation is reaching absurd levels. Tickets for the first home game sold out in record time. Jerseys vanish from shelves within hours. And somewhere in all that noise, you can almost hear destiny humming, soft, steady, and unstoppable. And then there's the locker room chemistry, something no stat sheet can capture. Veterans talk about how Jefferson fits in like he's been there for years. There's laughter, music, energy, and that intangible bond that great teams always seem to have before a big season. Kittle called him the missing rhythm. Debo said he's the spark we didn't know we needed. Even the defense, led by Fred Warner, feels it. That sense of urgency and unity that only comes when everyone believes they're on the verge of something historic. Behind closed doors, players reportedly watched Jefferson's highlights together, hyping each other up before practice. It's contagious. Everyone's buying in. That's the part no one outside the building can truly grasp. How a single signing can shift an entire culture. The 49ers always had the talent, but now they have something more powerful, belief. And belief, when mixed with firepower, becomes unstoppable. By the time Jefferson finally steps onto the field for his debut, the world will be watching. The cameras, the noise, the expectation, all of it will crash together under the California sun. And when that first ball spirals his way, when he leaps, catches, and dances his signature gritty in red and gold, the city will erupt like never before. It won't just be a touchdown. It'll be a declaration. San Francisco will know that the gamble paid off, that the wait was worth it, that the dream is alive. Justin Jefferson's arrival isn't just about football. It's about storylines, redemption, and the electricity of possibility. The 49ers have a star who can turn any Sunday into a spectacle, any game into history. And for the first time in a long time, the Bay Area feels like the center of the football world again, loud, proud, and ready for greatness. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The city of San Francisco hasn't seen this kind of football fever in years. Every mural, every billboard, every sports shop seems to have Justin Jefferson's face glowing in red and gold. Local artists are painting him catching passes against the skyline, while fans line up for hours just to grab limited edition posters signed with his signature smile. It's more than excitement, it's devotion. Even at practices closed to the public, drones and fans camp outside just to catch a glimpse or hear the faint echoes of a crowd roar when he makes a big play. That's the level of anticipation we're talking about. Every move he makes feels like a headline. Even when he jogs onto the field, people lose their minds. It's that rare kind of connection between athlete and city, like Curry and the Warriors or Buster Posey and the Giants back in the day. Jefferson has already become part of San Francisco's sports heartbeat, and the season hasn't even started. You can feel it pulsing through every conversation, the belief that something legendary is brewing in the Bay. And make no mistake, the league is paying attention. Rival teams are already whispering about how they'll defend him, if that's even possible. Defensive coordinators across the NFC are staying up late, rewinding film, trying to find any hint of weakness. But Jefferson's versatility breaks schemes. He's too fast for linebackers, too strong for corners, too smart for double coverage. When you mix that kind of skill with Shanahan's creativity, it's almost unfair. It's like trying to contain a storm with a paper fence. Some insiders believe this will be one of the most unstoppable offensive seasons the 49ers have ever produced. Others think it could redefine how modern offenses operate. What's clear is that nobody's taking San Francisco lightly anymore. Jefferson's signing didn't just shift the roster. It shifted the power balance of the entire NFC. Every team knows that facing the Niners now means facing a nightmare that wears number 18. But perhaps the most beautiful part of this entire story is what it means for the fans. The people who've stayed loyal through heartbreak, through near misses, through decades of almost. For them, Jefferson represents more than touchdowns. He represents redemption. A symbol that the front office is all in, that the dream hasn't died. Parents are telling their kids, "You're watching history happen." The energy feels generational, the kind that defines eras. And when the lights go down at Levi's Stadium on opening night, when Jefferson lines up for his first route, the whole city will hold its breath. Because everyone knows if he catches that first pass, if he makes that first move, if he scores that first touchdown, it won't just be points on the board. It'll be the beginning of something immortal. The Bay has its new hero, and his name echoes through every street, every chant, every heart. Justin Jefferson. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.